We back. Brothers from Inglewood Podcast once again, coming to you live and direct. We got a wonderful guest in the studio, and before we really introduce him and the topic, I just want to say thanks to the Coalesce Group, to Fruit Off the Vine, Clothing Apparel, and to all of those that are sponsoring us and following along. Thank you for sharing, for liking, sharing, and subscribing. It's just a wonderful opportunity to come and talk to you guys once again. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce this, wonderful. We would just consider it, a family thing,
Yes. Yes, sir.
growing
Yes,
up
sir.
and sharing the same, values and having a similar journey, through the community that we come from. And Erikk Aldrige is a local standout baseball player, honed his skills right here in the city of Inglewood. And so I just want to say welcome to the show, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Hoop. I appreciate it, man. And I'm glad I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing. Love
Thanks.
what you and Charley Mac are doing, man.
Thanks.
Just talking about the city, man. Talking about the journey.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I followed your progress over the years. Just seeing how, you've just your maturation process, going from how we grew up as kids, and then going into high school,
Right.
and doing that, going through that process, and then going into your profession.
Yeah.
I think that that says a lot about how you were raised. Your
Right.
parents. That kudos to your parents.
No doubt.
And how you and your siblings developed over the years. So I guess we can kind of start off with this first question. Are you a native of Inglewood?
Man, I guess first 4 years of my life, my parents, we had an apartment in the jungle.
Oh, okay.
And so we moved to 11th Ave, where my parents, who are still alive, thank God, and thriving.
Yeah.
They still live down the street from Darby Park.
Okay.
And born and raised in Inglewood.
All right.
Warren Lane Elementary, Monroe, right?
No
And
question.
then I spent a year at Morningside before I transferred to Sarah. So I did all the local, man. I remember my first day at Warren Lane. My brother and I, this is when they used to let kids walk to school, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we had to cross Crenshaw.
Oh,
So that was
the
a big,
busy street.
That's
the
a
busy.
big, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So my brother and I, we team up. So we had this idea, like, we did a little Hansel and Gretel, right? So we was dropping the breadcrumbs all the way up Hardy, all the way up to Warren Lane. And we had some chalk, right? So then on the way back, we coming back from home. I'm in third grade. He's in first grade. All the stuff is gone, right?
Everything is gone.
We still made it home, but that was the journey, right? You learn, and you grow.
And then you the older,
Yeah.
brother. So you
Key
got
around the neck, shoelaces.
There you go.
Key around the neck. Call your moms when you get home.
There you go. Double responsibility. Not only do you have to get to where you're going, but you got to look out for him.
Right.
Right. And what's up, Chris?
See y'all, my brother.
But I think the interesting thing is how those friendships were forged.
Right.
Like you lived in that neighborhood.
Right.
Benny Thomas was there.
Right, on my block.
Right.
Yep.
And then I think around the corner, Janine Thomas eventually came.
Yep.
She was there.
Yep. My boy David Jones, 10th Ave.
David Jones was on 10th
Hooper,
Ave.
like you.
Oh man, he was big time Hooper. Matter of fact, I just ran into him. Rest in peace, Kevin Williams passed away.
Yeah.
And so we were all at the homegoing, and it was great to see him.
Yeah.
He had words too, so it was really good. It was powerful, impactful to hear him share on behalf of his friend. But yeah, that community, I think Lynn Sherrill lived over there as well. Well, Lynn Sherrill was an outstanding female basketball player, but I just remember that part of Inglewood almost having to go to Inglewood High
Right.
Because you guys were on the cusp.
Right.
Where some of those students had to go to Inglewood High.
Right. So basically, the cutoff was when we all went to, that grew up in the avenues. So the avenues from Century to Manchester, right?
Yeah.
So from 11th Ave to 2nd Ave, across Van Ness, you in LA.
Yeah, of course.
And so all of us were at Warren Lane that lived in that neighborhood that went to public school. And if you live south of Arbor Vitae, you was Morningside.
Okay.
If you live north of Arbor Vitae, you were Crozier.
Crozier, okay.
Right? So then, Monroe, Morningside, Crozier, Inglewood.
Okay.
And that's just what it was, right?
Wow.
And so I think there were a couple people who flip-flop, kind of just based upon choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of us went to Monroe or Crozier.
Yeah. And then I think, you know what, it to me, I think from the district standpoint, from the superintendent all the way down, I think they were really just about numbers.
Right.
Like, because after I left Monroe, we moved on the other side of Inglewood.
Right.
So I was literally, my brothers and I, we were in Inglewood High's district.
Right.
As a matter of fact, my last semester of middle school, I finished at Crozier.
Right.
Because we moved over by the district office. And, but they never...
They weren't tripping.
Yeah, they was like, they was like, we know who you guys are.
Right.
You know?
As long as we got 1,000 over here and 1,000 over there, we good.
Right. And it seems like some guys only, really were made to come over if you were like a commodity. Like if they knew, like, okay, if like Nate Pumphrey.
Right.
Well, he played with us at Monroe.
Right.
But he didn't go to high school with us. They wouldn't let him come.
Right.
They said he was at the cutoff. But he was such a great athlete.
We're not
letting him go. Yeah, and I was like, wow.
Inglewood hoop problems.
Yeah. So that was an interesting dynamic there. What are some of the things that you kind of, encountered growing up? I'll just say on that side of town, and then getting into, your sweet spot.
Yeah.
When you started really playing baseball at a young age.
Right.
What was that really like?
Yeah. So I could put a bow on the educational piece. So
okay.
This is what I remember, right? So elementary school, Warren Lane is cool. Everybody's kids. It's all good. The only thing you had to worry about was you gonna go to the office and get swats by Mr. Campanis, and he would have you in the office and just ask you. He had 2 paddles. You want holes or no holes?
You got to get the no. If you get the one with the holes, you're gonna be over here sore.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna be sore.
So that was elementary school, and then you get to middle school. You start growing up. You start getting into stuff a little bit. And I always remember, like, man, I tell people if there was a time when Erikk Aldrige, who's a good kid, was going to like kind of go off the rails, it was kind of middle school. Yeah. Like you started dabbling and stuff.
Yeah.
So the big decision that we had to deal with when we went to Monroe was, being from where we were, was did we go through the bottoms to get to school, or did we, which is quicker, or do we go up to Crenshaw, which was safer, right?
It was safer,
right? So the route was, you had the Louisiana Chicken right there on Century, right? So morning, go through the bottoms because they all sleep, ain't nobody up. You at school at 7 o'clock, you out. Yeah. On the way home, we just gonna take the long route.
Exactly.
Because them fools is up.
Yeah.
And you just didn't want to have to deal with all that,
you didn't want the questions. You didn't want the harassment, man. It was, no matter how familiar your face was, you were gonna always get one out of the bunch that's gonna say, "Man, give me 50 cents."
Right.
And it was like,
so that was the big decision, man. And then, and then for me, transition to baseball was, I went to Morningside my first year. And I was a baseball player, grew up in Inglewood, big baseball community. Okay. And I was like, man, I saw my boys at Westchester and other schools doing things. I was like, this ain't gonna happen at Morningside. So I went to Pops. I was like, I need to transfer. I went to Sarah, and then my high school kind of baseball career took off from there as a sophomore varsity player at Sarah. Okay. So that was the transition. But the journey through baseball in Inglewood, telling you, man. I'm telling you. I got like names on my phone.
You gotta mention them.
Oh,
You
man.
gotta mention them because I started out playing baseball, but I was really afraid of the ball.
That's a problem.
I wouldn't hit.
Right.
I would never say I couldn't hit.
Right.
I used to say that when I was in high school.
Right.
I couldn't hit.
Right.
I didn't hit because I would always jump away from the ball.
Right.
So after 7th grade, I never even played anymore.
Right.
It just I was like, this is not for me.
I'm good.
Even though I was getting recruited by local coaches to run the bases.
Right.
And it was crazy because I could catch.
Right.
I could throw and I could catch.
You're like a defensive specialist.
Yeah, and it was like, I don't care how hard you hit it to me or I'm going to catch it.
Right.
But I just, in my mind, nobody helped me.
Right.
Nobody said, listen, man, your fear is of getting hit.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
But you're not going to die. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody...
Ken Norton did that for me. He hit me.
He didn't just do that for you. He did that for a whole bunch of fools. A whole bunch of folks.
Because I played with Ken Norton Jr., and I was the dude every time I got. And it's crazy because I was like kind of at the back of the batting process.
Lineup,
and it was like, soon as I go, they just start grabbing their gloves. Like, dude, he about to strike out. We get ready to go on the infield. But I wasn't good.
I appreciate that, man. That's real. But you was out there.
I was out there.
You got love for the game.
Yeah.
You got love for the game, which is
was
important, man. Yeah. I wasn't no good in hoops, but I had love for the game.
Right.
I played on an Inglewood YMCA team that was 12-0. I was averaging a smooth like 2 points a game. We had some big, I can't remember, take it off the glass, push it down, and we was housing fools. I'd be at the end of the year.
Right. But that wasn't your sport.
Yeah, I wasn't good at it. I wasn't that good. It's cool though. I played.
Yeah,
I was in there.
And I don't mean to go backwards, but what is your profession now? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so ironically, I work in sports and entertainment. I work for a company called AEG, which is the largest provider of live sports and entertainment in the world. So you think AEG as a company, Staples Center, LA Live, music festivals like Coachella, New Orleans Jazz Fest, the Galaxy, the LA Kings, partner with the Lakers. That's what I currently do, and I've been in that space for about 25 years. Started my career with the Lakers.
Yeah, you did. And,
you did. I always the irony of it all is, man, and I share this story a lot. Easy. That's my dude. We actually started playing golf together, when he was with the team. So that was a trip. Yeah. But it was when the Lakers were still at the farm. So I was there from 91 to 99 before we moved to Staples Center.
Okay.
And my friends, like I would go there. I was in the office. I had my little bootleg, suit on, just trying to make do. Working in the PR office. But all my friends' parents, they was the ushers, the parking people, the ticket takers, the security. So like when I go to work, it was like family, right? Like they be like, hey, young Aldrige, like, hey man, we see you. Hey, keep up the good work. Right. It was very encouraging. I mean, only thing that was encouraging was like, these would be like, Erikk, hey man, like blue and black don't match on your suit. Your suit, you gotta get some price. Like, well, hey man, break me off some of that 120 million and buy me some gear. Right. I did think he bought me some kicks, but good dude.
Okay.
But man, that was my career. So I worked with the Lakers and Dodgers. In that same space, Walt Disney Company. So deep passion for sports and entertainment. Work primarily on the community affairs side. So I'm working with nonprofit organizations, civic engagement, just making sure that our companies are not only, doing well business-wise, but also like giving back to the community and being a vital resource for jobs, etc. So
that's a blessing.
Yeah, man. And then on the side, you rocking my Inglewood Baseball Fund. So it started a foundation in 2015 just to continue to promote baseball in Inglewood with our board of directors, and we're doing some exciting projects around baseball. So.
See, I think that's what it's about because, like we were sharing off the air, a lot of our natives who have come out of the Inglewood community had to kind of sort through the negative image of Inglewood, not understanding the history. If you understand the history, then you can appreciate what it is today. However, when we see student athletes like yourself who excelled, went away to college, finished there, got into your profession, but didn't lose your way. You took the values that you learned from your parents, the fundamentals of being a good person, a model citizen, and now you're with an organization that's thriving. And even those that was previous to this one where you are, and you still have a mindset and the ability to give back. I think that's tremendous. Now, with that being said, tell us about how we can reintroduce baseball to the inner city.
Right. So I'm actually going to start with kind of a question back to you. So,
sure.
And this is a philosophical thing, and I think one thing people have to understand is that, the communities are changing.
Yeah.
The world is changing. Global economy. So think about from a basketball perspective, then we're going to compare it to baseball.
Okay.
Who was the last great New York City point guard to come to the NBA?
I would say Kemba Walker.
Okay. So now, when did they win that national championship at UConn?
At UConn, I think they won that in
something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
I think because he's class of 08.
Right.
So
they won it like in 2012, 2011, something like that. Okay. It's 2021.
Yeah.
That's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so my point is, there was a time that if you were a college basketball coach, you had to get an inner city point guard from New York City. Yeah. Georgia Tech, Stephon Marbury,
point guard which they
North Carolina, Kenny Smith.
Yeah.
Like everybody had to get
a New York point guard
or inner city point guard.
Yeah.
Whether it's West Coast, from Chicago, DC.
Yeah.
But that's changed because the game. It's not that those kids in those communities don't hoop no more. It's just the competition is so broad. Yeah, it's a global game.
Yeah,
you got point guards from Africa, Europe, South America. Yeah. So I bring that up to my basketball people because the conversation, the dialogue around baseball is like blacks don't play baseball no more. Right. And I'm like, because the MLB number is 9% and it's not 20% like it was at 75. Well, folks, some things ain't going back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true.
So my focus always has been, Hoop, is on, like, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the kids that's playing. It's a lot of kids that love to play. Love to play baseball. They out there playing. They just like you.
Yeah.
They grow up, they play football, baseball, basketball, soccer. Their parents put them in everything.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just migrate to where their talent is.
Okay.
So you got young cats in MLB like Dominic Smith, grew up on Western Ave.
Yeah.
J.P. Crawford grew up in Long Beach.
Okay.
These are MLB guys.
Okay.
My guy pitches for the Orioles, Dylan Tate, another kid. So
what about the kid from your school? He recently
from Sarah.
Yeah,
that's Dominic Smith.
Yeah. I knew his AAU coach.
Yeah.
That coached him.
Hackett. Craig Hackett. Right.
Craig Hackett.
So my thing is, I think today, man, and in our program, the LA Rock Stars, which was funded by the Inglewood Baseball Fund, we got some kids that can go. Okay. We got kids in college now playing in Power 5 conferences, etc. So my thing is this: let's just continue to push them kids forward.
Okay.
And while, man, I love Getty Field and Rogers Park and all that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's returning. Just like there are elements of basketball that just aren't returning. Like y'all all started at the park.
Yeah.
Then you went much later on into the AAU circuit.
Okay. Yeah.
They started in the AAU circuit.
That's true.
So it's just, again, I think the media a lot of times, because baseball is a white sport, I think the media really pushes that blacks don't play, they don't like baseball. I see it differently. I see these kids.
Okay.
They look like us. They love to play. Now, if you're an athlete, you might get different opportunities. You might be Kyler Murray, where you draft in the first round of baseball, you draft in the first round of football. starting quarterbacks is getting $100 million contracts.
Yeah.
Baseball, they get $200 million, $300 million.
But
maybe you gotta get to Mookie Betts and
Yeah.
Tatis, and
Yeah.
can he get there? Could he have gotten there?
Yeah.
Perhaps. Or perhaps he could have just been like a good player or a role player.
Yeah.
Whereas in the NFL already made the investment.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
Oklahoma already made the investment.
True.
Full ride.
True.
So baseball is
I see
from an economic standpoint, it's just not there.
Okay.
But I do think the numbers are changing. You also have to go down south. You got to go down to Atlanta, Louisiana, down to New Orleans. It's a lot of brothers out there playing. Chicago has a great program.
Yeah.
And then LA is just a different market too.
Yes,
it looks different.
It has a lot of how can I say, moving parts.
Yeah.
Because you got so much to choose from.
Yeah.
I think speaking to that point, when you look at the dynamic of our introduction, you're right. Our parents put us in everything. We figured it out, and we said, I think I like this better, or whatever. I think I'm better at this.
Right. Or I'm afraid of the ball.
I'm afraid of the ball. I just stopped playing. I probably, I had the speed. I had the defensive skill. I was aggressive. I just psychologically I wasn't there. And I didn't. Well, obviously it was fear.
Right.
I just was fearful that I was going to get hit every time.
Right.
Who were some of the guys that you saw developing, and who did you think had pro potential or whatever? Because Ken Norton Jr. to me was like Barry Bonds.
Right.
He wasn't the only great talent out there.
NFL player.
But this dude. He was so imposing physically.
Sure.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of people don't know Ken. He was a quiet dude.
Right.
He was a really reserved dude until you ticked him off. You could see that aggression come out of him, but he wasn't a troublemaker. He wasn't, that big burly, here comes the bully. He wasn't like that. He was just he was good, man. He was good.
Yeah. So I mean, I actually, like I said, man, I started this thing on social media, and I just threw it out there to the baseball community in Inglewood, and people started chiming in. Man, my man Derek Smith, who's like the historian.
Oh yeah. Inglewood High.
Courtney Tolliver.
Yeah.
And then big shout out to my mom, who was the first female president of District 37.
Okay.
And we just started going down memory lane the last 2 weeks, and so. Okay. To answer your question, so there was two kind of factions in Inglewood when it came to baseball. You had Inglewood Little League, which is at Rogers Park. That's actually where I started. I don't know why. I lived on 11th Ave and went all the way over there.
Yeah.
And then I finished at Sportsman Little League, which was at Getty Field, the oil fields.
Exactly.
Right. And
I used to watch those games. I wasn't good enough to play in that league, but I used to watch you guys. I was like,
hey, and get you some chili Fritos in the thing.
Exactly.
By Della Robinson.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So when you talk about Inglewood, man, I'm just roll names. I ain't gonna say nothing about them, but guys that played at Inglewood. Michael Lewis, Royal Clayton, Big Lester Fennell, David Clemens, my friend Michelle Carruthers was a bad sister who played baseball, not softball. Michael Thompson, big white boy John Hoffman, big Robert Smalls. Everybody said that he had the most power.
He did, man.
He had the most power anybody ever seen.
Robert,
Big Sean Davis, who ended up hooping at San Jose State. Jose Harkey, Ruben Estrada, who had a dirty curveball go around your head, and Bugs Bunny, you land in the middle of the glove. So that was like the Inglewood side. The green and white. And then we all played for the Tournament of Champions, which was all the leagues in District 37, Holly Park, Wiseburg. And the team that won 4 years in a row, 77, 78, 79, 80, was the Mighty Cubs. Getty Field.
Man.
So I
Jeffrey Lee.
What brought me from Inglewood to Getty Field was legendary Coach James Henry, who's still kicking in Texas.
Is he still living?
He's still here in Texas,
Coach Henry,
doing his thing, man. And he came up to my pops, and he saw me up at Darby just working on my dad. He said, "Oh, where does he play? He's playing Inglewood." He said, "Oh, I think you should come over here to Getty." So I'm going to have him try out, tell him to miss every ball. Because they had the first pick, because they had the last pick, because they were the number one team, man.
Right.
I went to try out, missed every ball. I'm the first the last pick of the first round,
and they got
and we won the championship in '80
Wow.
with my boys. So some Getty Field names. I know I'm missing people. You talk about Ken Norton Jr. On my block, Kenny Boone,
yeah.
Benny Thomas, both the left nav guys. My boy Fat Boy, Darren Westbrook.
Yeah.
Chris Joe Dominguez.
D West.
Had a great conversation with him earlier this week.
Yeah.
Dougie, Leon Douglas.
Yeah.
My boy Dipper, Troy Flemings. Daryl Ball. Chili, Charles Lytle.
Yeah.
And then some newer guys, man.
Chili was good, too.
Lefty. Alvin Steen, Coco Chris. These are like past my era, but I want to shout them out because they were tremendous players.
Yeah.
And of course, man, everybody's guy, man, our guy Kenny Boogie, man, Kenny Robinson, rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
Probably the sweetest left-handed swing, man, that I ever seen, man. That dude could go. He was a part of our over the line crew. And that's how we got it in.
Yeah.
We would meet. No, we didn't text each other.
Right.
It was as Chris Joe said, we was if we wasn't asleep, we was playing baseball.
That's right.
If we wasn't playing in the game, we was at Warren Lane or we was at Darby, up the hill. We call it like you down the hill or up the hill.
Yeah.
We was up the hill playing.
Yeah.
Like with ourselves. It wasn't no coaches.
Yeah.
And we set the lineup, man, and we was just swinging, man, and dive. If you didn't come home dirty, like you wasn't doing that. And we would do that 6-7 days a week, literally in the summer. In the summer, we would, hey, we call one person, I'm on this side, I got the people on this side, hop on the handlebars, my brother hop on the handlebars of the bike, we would go up the hill, working them legs, go up that hill on 11th, up to Darby, and we would just go, man. That's these incredible. Dudes, man. These are names. No, these are
powerful
guys.
Names and man, Robert Smalls.
Yeah, Big Bobby Smalls. We played on the travel team, Compton Travelers, growing up before he got drafted, man. And man, he was
because he played football too at Inglewood High, and he had all that size, but we knew his love was baseball because he
would crunch up like this.
He was so good, man. He played varsity, 9th grade.
Yeah, he was a guy.
And it was him and Mark Mosley that was on that team. And then the older guys we watched was Sherman.
I forgot about the Harrison Sherman
and his brother
James Sherman. Yes.
Oh man, these guys were like poetry in motion, right?
Yeah.
And then Lester Mosley, which was at Morningside with me. Right. His little brother was Marcus, right? So I'm watching Marcus as a 10th grader go up against his brother who's a senior, and I'm like, this is incredible. Right. This dude is like one of the best players on the field, and he's in the 10th grade, right? And so I remember Jay Humphreys being so good that they thought that he was going to choose baseball over basketball. Right. And watching him play basketball, I was like, no way. Yeah. But I didn't get to see him when he was younger, like in middle school. Yeah. Of course, he was much. He's 5 years older than us. Right. But I did see him come out of the 9th grade, and I was like, man. But he was an athlete.
The common thing is, and I hear this a lot now that we're older, a lot of these guys that went on to play football, went on to play college football or college basketball, a lot of them say, man, I should have stuck with baseball.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Benny Thomas.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, man.
Benny, Chili. Yeah. Because me and Chili, he's my godbrother.
Right. Okay.
So we played on our same teams all through Pop Warner. Right. But I only played baseball in the 6th grade.
It was
I
nice,
was
man.
terrible.
Lefty.
But he was so good. Watching him go up against, the Jamel Holloways and stuff like that, the Ken Nortons, I was like, man, this dude is, So
nice.
So baseball to me was something that it wasn't pushed.
Right.
As good as you guys were.
Right.
To me, it wasn't like go to Sarah because they send a lot of their guys to universities in baseball. Right. Or go to Torrance High because they're known for pitchers. Right. It was like you guys played because you loved it and you knew, okay, this is this might be a ticket for me.
I think the challenge we're still facing today is that the pathway for baseball is just much more complex, right? So football, you get recruited, you sign, 100%, done deal. Yeah. Basketball, you get recruited, you sign, 100%. baseball, you get recruited. It's not 100% scholarship sport. So you got to piece together your money. You know, it's like soccer and volleyball at the collegiate level. So, look, if I'm a parent and I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I get higher education and not have to pay for it? Well, I mean, that's why you saw guys like Rodney Peete, John Jackson. They would be on football scholarships and then play baseball.
Yeah.
So, and then the whole minor league.
Troy Aikman played baseball too. A lot of people didn't know that.
He grew up in Cerritos.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, played with my cousin in Little League. My uncle was his coach, and my cousin played at Gar High School. But the pathway is just, we think about all these guys that played minor league ball: Robert Smalls, Micah Lewis. Yeah. All Royal Clayton. Out of all these guys, really only a couple of them made it. When I say made it to the show. Okay. Royce Clayton.
He was very good.
Coco Crisp.
Yeah.
And then, so the pathway is, but more important, the pathway to education is just not as clear cut
as the other sports. Okay. Because I know that it was considered our game too, many years ago.
Man.
Black Negro League. You saw, because my grandfather, he's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
He loved baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be at his house on the weekends as kids, even as high schoolers.
That was the only thing on.
And you could hear him. He would be listening to baseball on the radio. The Dodgers famous, commentator.
Big Scully.
Yeah. So I'm like, how's he back there listening to it? You can't even, you're not even seeing it. But that's what he loved it.
Yeah, your grandfather came from that generation.
Yeah,
man.
he loved it, man.
And so
born in 1922.
Yeah. So I think it's still embedded in us. I think, there are a lot of black folks who are still passionate about the game. We probably need to start having more kids so we can keep boosting our population. But that's another topic. But I think it's still embedded, man. And while we're spread out a little bit more, I think the flame is still burning. Yeah. And you see it, and I see it in these parents, these younger parents, in their 30s or 40s, and I coach their kids. They there for a reason. They there because of, like, people like your grandfather. Yeah. They had a grandfather. Yeah. Or a father who was like, "Hey man, baseball is great," and we just we doing our best to keep that going, and then plus it up too. Compete with AAU basketball. Make sure we look nice. Our kids got batting gloves. Yeah. We ain't got hand-me-down stuff, and I think those are things that any sport right now, whether it's lacrosse, soccer, whatever, we try to compete.
And another thing that's impressive, as you were saying, that when I start to look at the other nationalities that are considered minority in baseball, I feel good, man. It's almost, it gives me a sense of gratitude and appreciation, even though these are our Spanish brothers that are from the Dominican and other places. But I'm like, we in there though.
Yeah.
Because it seems like American, African Americans are not getting there as much as some of the other minorities that are coming from overseas. Yeah. But knowing that
cheaper labor.
Yeah, man. It's like we brothers. So I'm like, hey, we out there.
It kind of goes to my global game part, which is, in 75 when you had the We Are Family Pirates. I think at one point they had fielded an all-black team from the pitchers, catcher, the whole team. Willie Stargell, Dave Parker, Cobra, all them. But there wasn't Venezuelans. It wasn't a lot of Dominicans. There was a couple Puerto Ricans. Right. But now you look at the MLB, they got players from Curacao, the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, the Dominican, Cuba, so Colombia. Yeah. So it's different. It's just the mix is different. Yeah. But shout out to Jackie Robinson Day was yesterday, April 15th, and like he didn't just pave the way for American blacks. He paved the way for a lot of folks to open up the doors to make baseball a global sport. Yeah. And so it's good to see across the board, man. If you're the best, then you're the best.
That's true. That's so true.
We still pushing to get some more though.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like I know how passionate you are, and Hackett, guys like Coach Hackett, because his son is now.
Yeah, I know him, all right. Yeah,
because he was good too.
Yeah,
and so.
Was he good? No, I ain't never seen him play.
No, he was good, man. He just, basketball was like pushed, before base. But he says it to this day. He's like, I should have kept playing baseball. Yeah. But he was really, and he grew. He got to size.
Right.
And he was a great student. Yeah. Fantastic student. Best friends with Marcus Williams that went to UConn. And so I'm looking at him too. Yeah. He was a baseball player. A pitcher, left hand. Yeah. Marcus Williams was a left-hand pitcher, left-hand quarterback. He was a special little kid. Right. And then I'm looking at Hackett's son, and I'm like, he can play. He can throw. So, how do we get that? I guess that's another question for me. Will baseball ever reach the inner city? Mm-hmm. In that capacity, like it did for us, we gravitated to it,
sure.
even though I didn't choose to stay with it, and it wasn't my sport. I played. A coach said, "Hey, Coach Smokey, Inglewood, Darby Park. That's where I played. Me and Ken Norton was on the same team, and Coach Smokey said, because we lived on the same block." So he said, he used to see me running. Man, you got wheels, he was like, "Why don't you come and steal some bases for me, run some bases?" I was like, "Okay, cool." Yeah. Man, I got over there, man, a couple of practices. He said, "Man, you didn't tell me you couldn't hit." But I could, like I said, I could do everything else.
I love them coaches, man. Back in the day, they were the best, man. Shout out to Mr. Westbrook and Coach Harry and Mr. Wicks, Mr. Gill,
Mr. Wicks,
Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Moncrief, Coach Thompson, Coach Alvin Steen. Yeah, I mean all those men gave up a lot of their time, man, to help us get us to practice.
Father figures.
Yeah, man. Mr. Domain, goddamn, I thought I was going to lose my life on the back of that yellow Toyota truck, man. Chris, your dad almost killed us several times, man, in the back of that yellow truck. They probably put that law in for Mr. Domain.
And they probably adjusted the capacity of a car or truck with Coach Henry. He would have views on dang near on the top of the hood. Man. I was like, he's taking everybody home.
Yeah, D. West Pops, man. He had the van, little mystery machine. Yeah. You had to stay out of there if you was a kid, though, in the game, because, they be partaking in adult activities.
Mark Hammock's father.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Mr. Hammock used to take everybody home, too. Yeah. But Mark was a baseball player.
Yeah, another mine. Warren Lane Avenue cat.
Yeah, So I mean, when you start thinking about that, as we kind of wind down, there's another question. If you could advise one student athlete, how would you encourage that individual as it relates to the scope of their development? Because as a kid, you don't know. You don't know what's ahead of you.
Yeah.
If you could speak to that one.
Yeah. I'll speak to the family, whether it's the kid, mom and dad, the kid and dad, the kid and mom, the kid and mom and mom, the kid, whatever the situation is, foster mom, grandma. The most important thing is with development is that development is not a linear process. It's not a straight line. It's not you start here and then I want to do this and you just get here and it's a straight line. Okay. You know this, You start here and then it is up, down, up, down. Yeah. But you got to keep going. Because if you love to do it, right, and you have the God-given talent, which, you can't place that in yourself. Only one person can put that in you. Yeah, right? That's true. So don't focus on what other people are doing. Just focus on your journey with the understanding that it's going to have ups and downs.
Of course.
But if you stay to task to what you love and keep working, then I think most kids get to that point in the journey where people fall off. We've seen plenty of people fall off. Is mainly because they stop. Okay. Now they stop for a variety of reasons. Yeah. Social. I want to hang out with my friends. Yeah. You know, social, emotional, family falling apart. Yeah. I can't focus because everything around me is falling apart. I don't love the game. Maybe my dad loved the game, but I don't love the game. Because if you're not willing to shoot in the gym, if you're not willing to go in the garage and hit off the tee by yourself,
it's not in you.
It's not in you. So I just tell people, so enjoy that journey. And if your journey isn't the person that wants to sit outside and shoot, 100 jumpers on your own, then understand there's going to be an end game to that, and it's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because there's the kids that's out here, they banging that ball off the tee every day. They shooting them jumpers every day. They running their sprints and stuff all the time. They catching the football every day. And so my advice to young people and their parents is sports are great. Get in your lane. Don't worry about somebody else's lane. Run the race in your lane. Run the race in your lane.
Yeah.
You know, and finish.
There you go.
Wherever that is. If it's high school, college, pro, little league. And that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's excellent advice. I think more people should understand that it's bigger than just that baseball interest that we may have as a parent or as an uncle or as a community leader, just saying, hey, you
can go pro.
I love this, and you should love it too.
Right.
Instead of understanding, every kid is different. Right. Of course, we bring structure there. We bring options there.
Competition.
But you still have to look within and say, well, how can I help this kid, develop in the thing that they're discovering, that they're interested in.
Right.
I have sons, 17 and 14, and you would have thought that they was just going to pick up this ball and do what I did.
Right.
But I didn't have that aspiration for them.
Right.
The number one thing that I always wanted, and I still emphasize, you're going to get these academics.
Yes, sir.
Because I knew what it was like for me having those options and not taking full advantage of them and things of that nature. Right. So I wanted them to avoid any type of pitfall based on putting the sport before, the academic. And so I think that's, what you've done over the years and what you are doing, especially with this particular nonprofit, is what we need. We need more of this. We need the exposure to it. How can somebody that's viewing and listening find out how to tap into what you're doing through your organization? Yeah. You have a website?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can find all the information at inglewoodbaseballfund.org. Follow us on Instagram, Rockstar Baseball. And I think the most important thing that I tell people, we've done a few projects. So we've built a brand new multi-use baseball, softball, batting cage at Darby Park. Wow. So in between the two fields, overlooking SoFi Stadium. It's about a $150,000 project that we got the Dodgers and some others involved in.
Okay.
And we want to continue to do projects like that. We also want to support and inspire. So, since 2015, we've taken a group of kids from our area to Cooperstown, New York, to play in a prestigious tournament. We raise about $30,000 a year for that. So there's links to support those kids.
Oh, that's great.
They're all, kids from either Inglewood or surrounding neighborhoods. They love baseball. So we talk about how do we get kids and black kids involved, inspire them. They get inspired when they see stuff. I know the first time I got on the plane or went someplace to play baseball, when we got in the back of Mr. Harry's car, Mr. Domingue truck, and we went to Harbor City for the regional championship. Yeah, I was like, we thought we was in Harbor City, man. We thought we was in New Mexico or something, right?
No, I understand.
So inspired, man. So Inglewood Baseball Fund, and we're just grateful to interact with our folks, man, who've been influenced by the game.
You've been doing it a long time, man. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have you taking time out to come and share with us, man. This won't be the last time. Yeah. Because there's some other things I want to pick your brain on. Yeah. And of course, I know how to get in contact with you and give you a heads up. But it's just been a pleasure,
no doubt,
to have you in the studio. And you know, I think about Chris all the time.
Yes, sir.
And you make sure you send them my love.
Yes, sir.
But once again, man, you know, you blessed us with information. You blessed us with your presence to share, you know, from your heart, and emphasizing the importance of our youth.
Right.
I think when people forget themselves, right, that they were once young, yeah, trying to find their way, right, yet alone some of the broken homes that only had one parent, yeah, and how that dynamic was. It's not a race thing, right, but it's a thing to where we can be proud of, to say we as a people, yeah, yeah, can move forward. Yeah. It's not about, you know, disrespecting any other race, right, or, you know, putting, you know, any one above the other, right, but it is understanding where we are, because before you can, you know, do those other things, you gotta do it for, yeah, yourself, right? Yes. You gotta yes, land on your feet. So, yes, man, again, thanks for coming by. It's been a pleasure.
Hoopie.
Yeah. So, you know, we're gonna sign off.
Famous, man. World famous, man. This cat right here. You talking about the mayor? You talking about the ambassador? Man, he is all that, man. If you don't know this man, then you ain't from Inglewood. That's for sure.
Appreciate it, man. But you know, thanks for viewing and following us. You know how to stay with us on this platform. You know, we're on YouTube as well as Facebook, and you know, stay with us. You know, like, subscribe, and share. Tell somebody that we're on pretty much Tuesdays and Fridays. You can find us. And, you know, we're going to do this again. We're going to bring some wonderful guests and talent into the studio and share this information. So, peace and love.
That's right. On the ball. On the ball.